Innovation Station on a Tuesday afternoon, and today we talk competition here too. We're talking competitive marketing, or there's another or there's another term for it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kate coined it. Roasting marketing.
Oh, is this a Kate coin term?
Yeah, it's roasting time.
Well, I looked it up. In Korean, they call it 라이벌마케팅. Yeah, so basically, whatever you want to call it, you're strategically bringing in your competitor into your marketing. Usually you're making fun of other brands that could be a competition.
Yeah, it's a really interesting strategy, isn't it? We'll find it sometimes, I'm not sure if you're going to touch on this, but you'll find it sometimes with fast food restaurants.
Oh,
that
yes.
seems to pop up from time to time, right? The king of burgers versus the golden arches sometimes. Yeah.
And then actually I'm going to be talking about another fast food chain that has to do with a girl's name starting with a W that's really famous in North America. They had that in Korea, but then they didn't do really well.
Oh, Wendy's.
Yeah. Oh, can we say it?
Yeah, it's not here anymore.
It's not in here. Okay. Well, Wendy's, I'll just touch up on it right now. They do really well with like social media. So they would like write stuff about the king of burgers or the double arches. When someone like writes something good about it, like a new whatever came out, then they would kind of like scoff at it and then kind of bring in their food. And then them tweeting on Twitter like became really like, it's like a fun joke for people on Twitter. So that's how they market their products.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really fun idea. And people know it's just playful, right?
Yeah.
And it usually makes it into the news as well somehow.
Yeah, so recently, actually, in Australia, it's sort of not really competitive marketing, but somewhat is. So what happened was a sandwich chain, they kind of made fun of a current political situation that's going on. So recently, Australia, they were going to sign a 90 billion Australian dollar contract with France for development of a fleet of conventional submarines.
Okay.
But then recently they said, oh, never mind. And then they turned to the US and the UK doing a nuclear-powered submarine partnership with them instead.
Okay.
So the sandwich company, they posted on one page of a newspaper, like a whole page.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it read, nuclear-free subs or something like that. Non-nuclear powered $90 billion cheaper subs.
Okay.
That's what it said on the ad. Yeah, so it made a lot of people laugh.
Where was this in Australia? Or
Yeah,
was
in
this,
Australia.
It was in Australia. I was wondering if it was in France.
Oh, no, it was in Australia.
Because they were upset that the deal got canceled or something.
Exactly.
Oh, it's a fun thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. But these kind of ads, they don't last forever. So competitive marketing, it's kind of like part of guerrilla marketing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
When people put out these tweets or when these companies put out these tweets or these full-page advertisements, they don't run them for 6 months.
Exactly.
Right? It's like a one-off type thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's why it's part of that. But there's a lot of fun ones that we can talk about today. To start off, why don't we start with, computers? There's two big, huge, computer companies or brands out there. One,
The fruit company.
The fruit company. The other, the soft company. Right? So they have their versions of PCs or computers,
Yes.
right? So there were countless numbers of like commercials that compared each other and how the other one is like less of a computer than the other one. So they do that all the time, right?
I think of all the roasting marketing, those two companies kind of always took jabs at each other whenever a new product comes out or there was some kind of controversy. Like, let's say a new product did come out from one side and it wasn't working as well, then the other company would take a huge jab at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some examples between these two companies. Nothing's coming to mind.
So a couple of years ago, there was an ad. The soft company, there was a person in their ad, and the person's name was Mackenzie Book.
Okay.
Mackenzie Book. Short for Mac Book, right?
What? The micro blank ran a commercial. And the character's name was
Mackenzie Book.
Mac book.
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
And in the ad, the character is arguing that the Microblank's new laptop is better than the fruit company's laptop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there's like a Q&A session between a voice over narrator and Mr. Book himself. And he tells the listeners or the viewers why he thinks that company's laptop is better than the Apple company.
Yeah.
And then in the end, the punchline is
I already know it.
MacBook says,
Yeah.
Get a da-da-da laptop.
Yeah. Even MacBook says get a microblank computer. Yeah.
Even though there's a space there,
That's very creative. I like that.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
Now, not only computers, but cell phones, of course. Now, this involves a Korean company as well. Korean company, the Three Stars company, and the Fruit company. They're like the number two, right? Two big companies that sell cell phones. Now, they've been doing commercials like that too. So this one commercial with the Three Stars, when the new phone came out, they were kind of mocking how people were in line to get the new cell phone from the Fruit company and stuff like that. So you see a line of people, and then people with the new Three-Star company, a cell phone, like, people are like, oh, yeah, I've been waiting for like 6 hours. Oh, really? I've been waiting for like 6 days. Like they were kind of mocking those people in a way that, oh, you can get ours like really instantly. And it's so much better kind of, connotation in their whole video. So that was pretty funny.
I remember those two companies are always going after each other.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I remember... Was it the Samblank had to pay some fine?
Let's move on, please.
100,
I'm so sorry. Yes.
100 years of wisdom.
Let us move on.
Oh, I see.
I was just about to steal a question, apparently. Kate's shaking her head at me over there.
But the funny thing is that although they're like, they have lawsuits against each other all the time, I do know that the Sam company, they actually provide like accessories for the Fruit company's phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
But that's not the stuff that typically makes it into the news, right?
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
The Sum company and also the L company here in Korea, those two are the big household appliances companies too. So a couple of years ago, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was watching TV and then on it was a TV commercial by the L company. And the L company and the Sam company, they kind of have similar names for their models. So I think the L company uses OLED, OLED. And then the Sam company, they start off with LED and then their new product was QLED, right?
Yeah.
So the L company was like, oh, well, QLED is only a version, it's like the same thing as LED, but a little, facelift kind of, right? So they were going through like the alphabet letters in front of LED, and then they stop at like Q, and then they go to O and say, O is the real one.
It comes before Q.
Yeah, but then... it was funny.
I didn't know the history of that. I mean, I know that those two companies and those two televisions are in serious competition for each other. They're so expensive.
I know they
Both
are.
of them. They're super expensive. So when I was looking for a new TV, I thought, well, that one's too expensive and that one's too expensive. So you can fight amongst yourselves. Neither of you is selling one to me. But I never knew that the Q and the O were kind of, that was... Adding the Q was kind of a jab at the O company, right?
Sort of.
Right?
So the L company went back at them and said, whatever alphabet comes before LED, it's not OLED technology.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Like OLED has nothing to do with LED. It's like a different, higher level technology. So that's how they went back at it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cars are always competing against each other. So this is I think the epitome of competitive marketing. The A company and the B company that are famous in Germany. They're both German cars. The AU company and the BM company, right? So the A company first started off with putting a billboard in LA City, right next to like one of the main highways. And the billboard said, "Your move, BM blank.
Okay.
Right? So it was, and they were promoting their new sedan. One small side, like small sedan.
The A company.
The A
was.
company.
Okay.
And then a little later, a local B company dealership placed another billboard not too far away from that original A company's billboard. And it said, checkmate. And the colors of the billboard were black and white for both companies. So it kind of looked like chess, as if they were playing chess.
Okay.
So then the A company put up another billboard, which was the last billboard. And it said, and they showcased their king, so their most expensive car line, right? And then it said, your pawn is no match for our king. In that billboard.
Okay.
So there was no place else to put another billboard. So do you know what B did?
What?
The B company.
What?
Did they plant a billboard?
They placed a blimp above the billboards. And in it, they had a Formula One racing car.
Okay.
And so, I mean, what can you do to that, right?
The BM blank Formula One car. What do you mean in the blimp?
So there was a picture on the blimp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of
their
on
car.
the side of the
yeah,
blimp.
on the side of the blimp.
Oh, that's very good. What are you going to do if you're the A company after that? Like get a jet plane?
Skywriting.
Skywriting? Just keep going up until you're at the International Space Station?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for these competitive marketing strategies, I think it benefits both companies, right? If you do it really well.
Which, I was going to bring it up. Do you think they do this together?
That's another thing that I think. Because if they did, that is actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
Because
It is
both
very
get
clever.
buzz.
You both benefit from it, right? It seems to me there would have been a plan from this. Okay, here's the geography of this, right? You make yours white, we'll make ours black, and you get the last one. Say, you can't compete with us, and then we'll get a blimp, and we'll share the cost of all of it. I can see that happening for sure.
Yeah, but I think it seldom happens because, we got to keep in mind they are rival companies, right?
true.
So it's really hard to kind of do it to get
It's-
harmonized.
It's a slippery slope when you're
Yeah.
going after your competitor because you're bringing attention to your competitor's product at the same time. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about TVs or hamburgers or cars or what have you, right?
Exactly.
Interesting topic, Kaylin. Really fun. And like I said, it usually ends up in the news and it's always tongue-in-cheek, so it kind of works out for the companies. I think.
does.
It creates a positive image for them.